Rahim, with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor. Notice, like to say, benefactor, the merciful redeemer. Praise be to Allah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. That is the prayers and the blessings be upon Muhammad forever and ever, and upon his companions, the righteous all. We thank Allah for you all coming this evening to the program, the purification of the soul. I don't know the Arabic of that exactly. Tazkiyah. Tazkiyatun nafs. Yes, that is the purification of the soul. And we know that Tazkiyah has something to do with zakat. And we know that zakat is giving up charity. It's a form of purifying ourselves when we do give charity and help people in various endeavors. And we know that even a smile is a charity. Praise be to Allah. And most of you probably already know that the word nafs itself has something to do with something being precious and very valuable. And so when we think of the eternal nature of Allah Himself, knowing that Allah tells us in the Qur'an too that the nafs of those who make it to the Jannah will live there, khalidina fiha, will live there forever, then that should really help the Muslims know that when we leave here, this physical earth, and then we do the right things and all of that, and we get the reward of the Jannah, we will be living there forever. What form? Only Allah knows. He gives us pictures of the garden amidst where rivers flow, and you'll never be asked to leave. And the greeting therein will be salam. Praise be to Allah. So the title of the program this evening is Making the Qur'an the Blueprint for Life. And notice I said Qur'an. I'm always one who like to help Muslims pronounce the Arabic words correctly. And knowing the importance of this book, starting out with pronouncing it correctly is really a natural, and it's something that we should really be aware of. So it's not Koran, Koran as they spell it in the English language. It's not Quran, but it's Qur'an. Allah says, Allama al-Qur'an, khalaqal insan, rhythm and rhyme. So when you think of Ar-Rahman, think of Qur'an, inshallah, inshallah. So the word Qur'an itself can be translated as a proclamation, a recital. Muhammad Assad translates it as a writ, W-R-I-T. And if you know anything about law, you know, a writ means, you know, something that is law, you know. So the Quran is law. In fact, as the title of this program is, the Quran is a writ and a blueprint for how you and I can get the maximum benefit out of the nafs and out of the various aspects of a human being that Allah has put into us, as He is indeed our Al-Khaliq, the Creator. So, if the Quran means proclamation, and we come to the ayahs in the Quran that we believe is the first of the ayahs that were revealed, Iqra. So the first thing people will say, it means to read, you know. But if you are one who have read the Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation, you know that he says proclaim first, and then he puts the word read in parentheses. So some years ago, I thought about that. I said, read? I said, we know that the Prophet Muhammad was in a cave and it was dark. He may have had some form of lighting in the cave. You know, I would suspect they had some kind of, you know, lighting in those days. But we do know that the Quran had not been written yet on sheepskin or gazelle skin, you know. So he could not have been told to read. I would agree with Abdullah Yusuf Ali that he was being told to proclaim. And he said, I cannot proclaim 3 times, right? The story has it. And then Allah says, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Proclaim in the name of your Lord, your Rabb, who created. So it's very interesting to know that Allah is using the word Rabb because Rab is the word that has something to do with taking something from its infantile state and bringing it on up to its completion and constantly nourishing it and cherishing it. That's why we say Rabbil Alamin, the cherisher, the sustainer of all of the worlds. So he was telling Muhammad, I believe, or Muslims, that I know what you have in you. And you have this point in your life now where you're going to have to proclaim a message of deliverance to the whole of humanity and also to himself. Praise be to Allah. So as I think of that point in time, we know that he was reportedly in the cave Hira. And I have heard it said, I've never been to Mecca, but perhaps our brother Imam Siddeeq and those who are Hajis could attest to it. But they said it was very difficult for him to have taken that arduous journey up into the cave on a regular basis. They say it wasn't an easy feat to get up into that cave. That's what I was told. So as you reflect upon this particular time, and you know that Allah refers to this particular time, and they call it the night of power, right? The night of power. And so I always like to look at words and think about them and look at different, meanings of words. And I remember reading Muhammad Assad said in his translation, the night of the destiny. So if you say the night of power, some people may construe that, and that's the only night that Allah showed his power was on that night. But we know Allah has been showing his power since he created creation. So he said the night of destiny. And he's using the word qadr. So we know that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was predestined by Allah to be in that cave that night to receive the contact with the angel Jibreel. Praise be to Allah. So I want you to have it in your mind, inshallah, that Iqra would mean more of proclaim. He was being pressed to proclaim a message of deliverance to the people. And we know he did it. Praise be to Allah. So I translate that particular ayah. This is my translation. Proclaim by and with the power of your Lord who created. And then the next ayah says, Khalaqal insana min alaq. He created the human family from a clinging, leech-like piece of flesh. Most of you know Imam Muhammad had told us maybe we shouldn't use the word clot, because clot has some negativity in it. In fact, if you get a blood clot in your body, you're going to have a few issues, So he kind of told us not to use the word clot. So it's very interesting to know that I used the word leech-like piece of flesh. So some years ago, there was a brother who was, in fact, his name was Dr. Ramsey. He was a doctor, a medical doctor, or a student at Wayne State University. And I had him on a TV program. And he showed us some slides of how the human being looks in the womb after a few days after the conception. And it looks just like a little leech with a bunch of ripples on it, And he put a real leech next to the human being. And we said, you couldn't tell if it was a human being or the leech, So we know that they use leeches, this is just a little sidebar, to help the circulation of people when they have problems with circulation. Them leeches, they cling to the skin and stick to your skin and help the circulation, So we know that Allah is referring to Muhammad's mind that I knew you when you were a leech in the womb of your mother, Praise be to Allah. So I have some pictures here, but I can't show them to you, but you might want to see them after I get through of some leeches, So the third ayah says, Iqra wa rabbukal akram. Proclaim, and your guardian evolver, cherisher, and sustainer is, some say, most generous. So we know Kareem has something to do with generosity, being honorable, being noble, and also being bountiful. So I would take the word bountiful because Allah was telling Muhammad, I got a whole lot of proclamation to give to you. I'm going to be real bountiful in giving you what you need. Praise be to Allah. And then the next ayah, I'm trying to remember, but at the same time talking here. Let me just get the ayah so that I won't make a mistake here. When you're talking and you're trying to remember from your subconscious the ayah that you already know.
الذي علم القلم.
Yeah, I got it here. الذي علم بالقلم. That is, it is he who taught the use of the qalam, the pen or the writing implement. And it's very interesting to know in English, the pencil is like a column, C-O-L-U-M-N, right? So perhaps they might have had some kind of cognizance of this Arabic word, qalam. And then it says, علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. He taught the human being that which he knew not. Now, I'm always one who like to, question translations, and people say, why are you doing that, But this translation says he taught man. What about woman, So he taught the human family, the male and the female, that which he knew not. I recall listening to a brother named Hibby Omar, and he was suggesting that Muhammad himself was being told from day one, write this down. A lot of us want to think that, Uthman was the only one that really decided to, write it down. But there's an ayah that mentions something about, it being wrote down and whatnot prior to Uthman, but that's another subject. And I was told not to say anything too controversial today. Okay. All right. So let me go now to the Surah 28, 83 through 88. I'm just going to read the English, and I may comment on some of the Arabic words. It says, that house of the hereafter we shall give to those who intend not high-handedness, arrogance, or unworthy self-exaltation or mischief on the earth. So Allah is telling you and I clearly that He does not support arrogance and high-handedness and self-exaltation. But when you think about self-exaltation, sometimes you have to, stroke your own self just so that people can know something about you and know that you have something to offer. So that's why I said unworthy self-exaltation, Praise be to Allah. So if and the end is best for the righteous. If any does good, the reward to him or her is better than their deeds. But if any does evil, the doers of evil are only punished to the extent of their deeds. Surely, surely. That's in there, right? So some of the translations just say verily, But if you understand the power of these different words, you do something to spark the English mind. So that's why I said to you, surely, surely, it is He, Allah says, it is He who ordained the Qur'an on you and me and the whole of humanity. So what word is He using for ordained? He's using fard. Fard. You know what fard prayers are? Obligatory, right? So Allah is telling you and I that this Qur'an is obligatory on you. So when we say obligatory, do we mean the English Qur'an? No, we mean the Arabic Qur'an, because the English Qur'an is someone's viewpoint of what the Arabic words mean. So I'm trying to suggest to you and I that it would behoove all of us to understand that Allah has ordained the Arabic Qur'an upon us. And He has made this Arabic Qur'an accessible to us if we take the time to learn the foundations of it, the structure of it, and then go to work in terms of looking up words in dictionaries and whatnot, and still have some interest in what others have said about the Qur'an in terms of translations and tafsir and so on. So that particular ayah is 2885 for your information, where Allah is using the word fard in relationship to the Qur'an. Then it goes on, surely He will bring you back to the place of return. Say, my Lord knows best who it is that brings true guidance and who it is in manifest error. Dalalum mubin, manifest error. And you did not, speaking to Muhammad and us too, and you did not foresee that the book would be sent to you. It is only a loving mercy from your Rabb, from your Lord. Then Allah says, therefore, speaking to all of us, Lend not your support in any way to those who reject Allah's message, and let nothing keep you back from the signs of Allah after they have been revealed to you. And then he tells us, and invite people to your Rabb, and do not ever be of those who join gods with Allah, and call not on a deity besides Allah. There is no deity but He. La ilaha illallah, right? So many times people will not translate Allah. Some, if you read the Lane's lexicon, will tell you that Allah is a contraction of two words, the definite article al, A-L, and ilah. Ilahun means a deity, with a lowercase d for sure. Okay? So Allah said, La ilaha. He's dismissing the existence of that little deity, you know. Then he gives you the exception. Illallah, except the one and only deity. Praise be to Allah. So I would encourage you, if you're in the dawah, arena, translate Allah for the people, because they know that this creation was created by a great creator who has created all of us from Adam. So if you say or insist that they call this deity Allah, then they don't have to, accept that, and they won't accept it in many cases. And we know in the Qur'an itself, Allah says, call me Ar-Rahman, or call me by any of my names. And Lahu Asma'ul Husna. To him is the most excellent attributes. I didn't say names, I said excellent attributes. Praise be to Allah. Or characteristics, if you will. Then it goes on to say, everything that exists will perish or be destroyed. And the word that's used is, the verb is halaka. Halaka. And you know they got this real destructive fellow, they call him the Hulk, right? The Hulk. H-U-L-K, right? So this word halaka in Arabic literally means to destroy something, to cause something to perish. And we know that the Hulk, he was a destructive fellow indeed. So that's another example. They may have taken this word from Arabic and put it into the English vernacular. So again, everything that exists will perish or be destroyed, except his own face. Does Allah have a face? We don't accept that Allah has human characteristics like a face. So the face must be translated to suggest everything that Allah has in mind to continue, or I won't even say mind. Whatever Allah wants to continue in this universe, it will continue. But we do know, if we accept science, that everything, at least from what we know, that has a material a component about it, it has a deteriorating point. Even diamonds aren't forever, right? Gold isn't forever, So we have to understand that this deity, he's forever, and he's not even a physical being. And our souls are not physical, and Allah says they will live, as I mentioned earlier, khalidina fiha, there in the paradise forever. To him belongs the final judgment, and to him will you all be brought back. So I hope you are putting it into your mind that you have an obligation to understand or learn the Arabic Qur'an. You can get by, we can all get by with English translations and whatnot, but in terms of the power of the impact and the expression and establishing a closer relationship to Allah and His Word, it would behoove you and I to be students of the glorious Qur'an. And we know everyone is not going to do it, but we want to encourage that. Allah says in the Qur'an, and I'm sure our brother Shafii know that I'm going to recite this particular verse. He says, وَجَعَلْنَاهُ Qur'aan and Arabiyya la'allakum ta'aqilun. And we have made this Qur'an a pure recital. A pure recital. This is my translation. If you read the Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation, he says, and we have made it an Arabic Qur'an. An Arabic Qur'an. He's not translating the word Arabic. So can in Arabic, the word itself, be translated? We have dictionaries that will tell you and I that Arabah means something that has no admixture to it. It's pure. It's undefiled. Arabah also means a carriage that will take you and I from place to place. A vehicle. A vehicle to what? Understanding Allah's word. This is what the Qur'an is in Arabic, and it's in accord with the very nature of the human being. So I said to you that I'm translating Arabiyyun as pure, and then Qur'an as proclamation or recital. So Allah says, we have made it a pure recital in order that you all are understanding. Okay? Now, a lot of people say, well, hey, I'm not understanding Arabic because I'm not an Arabic speaker. I wasn't born in Arab, and I haven't been privy to understanding or learning this language. I believe, O Muslims, Allah is telling you and I that He has made this language so pure, and once you make the contact with it, it is in accord with your original fitra nature. There's a certain mindset that one gets from reading the Qur'an in the Arabic. There's a certain emotionality that one can get. And it's a situation where really Allah speaks in the language that the people already know in terms of idioms and things like that. There's no children in here, right?
Downstairs.
Oh, they can hear me?
Kids, yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, I can say it like this. There's a verse in the Qur'an where Allah is talking about the rejectors of faith. And He says, what is the matter with you all? You are running like a bunch of affrighted, scared donkeys, like running from a lion. You're running like donkeys running from a lion. This is what Allah is, talking about those who reject faith. So I never seen, lions chasing donkeys, right? But I know that donkeys make a whole lot of squealing, crazy noises, and they probably, you're hollering and like, we got to get out of here, And I mentioned last time I spoke here, I saw on TV, National Geographic special, where I saw 2 Africans with a machete, a couple of machetes. Each one of them had a machete. And they didn't have a shirt on, they just had something covering their private parts, right? And there was a pride of lions that were eating their prey. I believe it was a wildebeest, right? And they walked right up on those lions. And those lions backed off. They didn't go far, but they backed off. And they went in and grabbed their machete and got them a few pieces and walked away. So the commentator, he said, now, they know the science of doing this, and they can't linger. They got to just go, get it, and move. So I just thought about that. I said, here Allah put the fear in the lion for the Homo sapien, but sometimes they might, if you don't wait too long, they say, well, forget about this Homo sapien, I'm getting to him, So I'm saying to you that Allah uses, things in our own, language here. Another example is he talks about a man that has a wife, and he is not really sure if he wants to continue with her. And Allah uses the word